Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Episode 3 of Sugar Season 2 picks up immediately after that brutal ending from the previous episode, and while it has fewer action scenes than Episode 2, it quietly delivers some huge revelations. John Sugar is still recovering from nearly dying. G continues to run from everyone trying to help him. The mystery surrounding fire sale starts taking shape, and by the end of the episode, one shocking detail hints that the conspiracy is much bigger than we first imagined. So let's break down everything that happened in Episode 3 and explain that ending. John survives against all odds. The episode opens exactly where the last one left us. John suddenly wakes up, covered in blood after surviving the deadly attack. Even though he's barely conscious, he manages to get into his car and drive away. The opening immediately reminds us that Sugar isn't an ordinary human being. A normal person simply wouldn't survive injuries like these. His first stop is meeting Val. He hands over the keys to his damaged car and quietly asks whether the replacement vehicle she arranged is stolen. It's classic Sugar. Even after almost dying, he somehow manages to joke around. But emotionally, he's completely drained and doesn't even stay long enough to explain what happened. Once he reaches home, we finally get to witness another reminder of his alien biology. While talking about treating the body like a temple, Sugar connects himself to an IV containing alien blood. Instead of receiving normal medical treatment, he literally performs a blood transfusion using his own species' blood to repair the incredible damage his body suffered. During this sequence, the visuals briefly transition into outer space as Sugar imagines what life might have been like if he had never decided to stay on Earth. It's a quiet but emotional moment that shows he occasionally wonders whether remaining here has been worth all the pain he's experienced. However, once the transfusion is complete, he's back on his feet and already preparing to continue the investigation. Val refuses to leave. The next morning, Val returns Sugar's repaired car. She's still shaken after seeing the amount of blood he lost and honestly thought he wasn't going to survive. Because the investigation has become increasingly dangerous, Sugar tries to protect her by ending their partnership. He believes she's safer staying away from this case, but Val refuses. She tells him there are plenty of dangerous jobs in Los Angeles that don't even pay as well as working with him, so she's not going anywhere. This moment strengthens their partnership even further. Instead of running from danger, Val proves she's willing to stand beside Sugar, no matter how risky things become. The search leads to G's mother. Sugar's investigation then takes him to one of Los Angeles' homeless encampments, where he searches for Sandra Jaquez, the mother of Jesus. Before meeting her, Sugar delivers another thoughtful voiceover about homelessness. Just like his earlier speech about immigrants, he refuses to judge people living on the streets. Instead, he explains that homelessness often results from terrible luck rather than personal failure. The show continues presenting Los Angeles from a perspective we rarely see in television, focusing on compassion rather than stereotypes. Sandra tells Sugar that her son was always a good-hearted person, even when he was involved with the EZ4 gang. According to her, everything changed because of something called fire sale, which has been flooding the streets with fentanyl. Although Sandra begins drifting into conspiracy theories, one important clue remains clear. Whatever fire sale is, it has become directly connected to the spread of drugs and Jesus' death. Sugar quietly gives her some money before leaving, showing the same kindness that defines his character throughout the series. As he walks away, he notices Dave and Bunny moving into their own apartment, offering one of the few hopeful moments in an otherwise dark episode. Dany receives an opportunity while G keeps running. Meanwhile, Dany's boxing career finally seems to be improving. A promoter named Len Pankow approaches Dany with an opportunity to fight in Las Vegas, potentially giving him the biggest break of his career. Everyone around him celebrates because it feels like Dany's hard work is finally paying off. Unfortunately, the good news doesn't last long. G suddenly calls Dany from a nightclub. His younger brother sounds terrified, explaining that dangerous people are after him. Even though G desperately needs help, he still refuses to trust anyone completely. Back at the hotel, Sugar asks Val to begin surveillance on Hannah's house because he believes G may eventually return there. Shortly afterward, Dany contacts Sugar and reveals something even more worrying. Members of the EZ4 gang have started following him, hoping he'll unknowingly lead them straight to G. Rather than confronting the gang violently, Sugar simply traps their vehicle in traffic before driving away with Dany. It's another example of how Sugar prefers intelligence over brute force whenever possible. G runs again. Sugar and Dany head to the nightclub where G placed the call. While walking through the club, Sugar reflects on music from his own planet. He explains that the music where he comes from is incredibly simple compared to Earth's endless variety. It's another fascinating glimpse into his alien culture and also reminds us how much he genuinely loves humanity despite all of its flaws. Inside the crowded club, Sugar suddenly believes he sees Peg dancing among the crowd. But she's not really there. The vision disappears almost immediately, leaving Sugar disturbed. This raises new questions about his mental state and whether he's beginning to experience hallucinations connected to his past. Dany eventually finds G sitting at the bar with newly dyed blonde hair. G explains that dangerous people are chasing him and says they have money coming soon. Dany immediately suspects the money comes from the stolen drugs. Before they can convince G to come home, Sugar approaches. The moment G notices him, he panics and runs. Sugar chases him outside, but just as he's about to catch him, an unknown man suddenly attacks Sugar from behind, smashing him across the head with a frying pan before escaping with G. Once again, G disappears. The brothers' emotional story. Later, Sugar visits Dany's apartment while recovering from another beating. There he notices a beautiful painting hanging on the wall. Dany reveals that G painted it and that it's actually a portrait of their late mother. He explains that after immigrating from Korea, their mother passed away, leaving only the two brothers together while their father remained behind in Korea. It's a heartbreaking conversation because Dany clearly refuses to give up on G despite everything that's happened. Sugar encourages him to keep believing in his brother because family relationships are never simple. Through another voiceover, Sugar reflects on his own sister. He admits they often argued and drove each other crazy, but he would do absolutely anything to have her back. That personal loss explains why he's become so emotionally invested in saving G. This case is no longer just another investigation. For Sugar, it's become deeply personal. The mystery of fire sale. While researching the case, Sugar searches online for any information about fire sale. Nothing appears. It's almost as though someone has erased every trace of it from public records. Val then calls from Hannah's house to report that surveillance has been incredibly boring. Sugar suggests G may return because he'll eventually need help selling the stolen drugs. This conversation confirms that the drugs remain the center of the mystery, but fire sale itself still remains hidden in the shadows. Charlotte raises new questions. One of the episode's quieter but more intriguing scenes happens at the swimming pool. Charlotte approaches Sugar and asks him an interesting question. Do certain ends justify any means? She explains that she's working with a group whose intentions appear good, but everyone involved signed suspicious non-disclosure agreements. Although she insists nothing illegal is happening, she worries about where good intentions might eventually lead. Their conversation quickly becomes flirtatious. Charlotte tells Sugar that people often say she's difficult to read before teasing him by asking whether he can read her now. Sugar honestly answers yes and no. The chemistry between them is obvious. As she swims away, Sugar admits through another voiceover that his people are discouraged from becoming emotionally attached to humans. But judging by his smile afterward, it's becoming increasingly difficult for him to follow that rule. Sugar goes into Downertown. The investigation takes another major step forward when Sugar meets Tom at the dog park. Tom explains that the EZ4 gang operates out of Downertown and that their leader is Jose Alejandro Cortez, better known as Jose Guapo. According to Tom, Guapo is disciplined, intelligent, and connected to the larger criminal organization known as the Universals, which also links back to Sugar's old acquaintance Sergey. Armed with this information, Sugar heads directly into gang territory. There he encounters the same young man riding a bicycle whom we saw earlier in the season. Sugar asks to meet Guapo. The young man questions why he has returned after nearly getting killed. Sugar calmly replies that he's hoping they can settle everything peacefully. Then Sugar casually mentions fire sale. That single phrase completely changes the atmosphere. The young man suddenly agrees to take him directly to Guapo. Only after entering a heavily guarded apartment do we discover the truth. The young man wasn't just another gang member. He was Guapo himself. Fire sale changes everything. Inside the apartment, Guapo immediately asks who told Sugar about fire sale. Sugar claims he simply saw the name written somewhere, hoping to keep Guapo talking. Then comes one of the episode's biggest reveals. Guapo admits that neither Jesus Jaquez nor fire sale was actually his idea. That single sentence completely changes the investigation. Until now, it looked like the EZ4 gang sat at the top of the operation. Instead, Guapo confirms someone even more powerful is controlling everything behind the scenes. Before Sugar can learn who that person is, police sirens suddenly erupt outside. Chaos immediately breaks loose. The shocking ending explained. As gunfire fills the building, Guapo points his pistol directly at Sugar. While Guapo becomes distracted by the police outside, Sugar tackles him. knocking the weapon away. The two struggle across the room until Guapo finally regains control of the gun and aims it directly at Sugar. Just before he can pull the trigger, heavily armed police officers storm the apartment. Without hesitation, they unload multiple bullets into Guapo, killing him almost instantly. Sugar is thrown into handcuffs, along with everyone else inside. But outside, another officer immediately recognizes him, orders the others to release him, and allows him to walk free after confirming his identity. That alone would have been an exciting ending. Instead, the final seconds reveal something even more important. As Sugar surveys the bloody crime scene, he notices one police officer checking his wristwatch. Normally, that wouldn't mean anything, except this officer wears his watch facing inward on his wrist. Sugar instantly recognizes that exact habit. It's identical to the mysterious man who had been secretly following G outside the hospital earlier in the season. The two exchange a silent look before the credits roll. This strongly suggests that the mysterious organization chasing G has infiltrated law enforcement itself. The people hunting him aren't simply criminals anymore. They appear to have allies inside the police, making the conspiracy far larger and more dangerous than anyone expected. Our nerdy thoughts. Episode 3 doesn't rely on non-stop action like the previous installment, but it quietly expands nearly every mystery. We learn more about G and Dany's heartbreaking family history. Fire Sale emerges as the central mystery. Guapo confirms that someone higher up is pulling the strings, and the final reveal suggests corruption extends well beyond the gangs. At the same time, the episode continues exploring the humanity that makes Sugar different from most detective series. Whether it's Sugar's compassion toward homeless people, his empathy for immigrants, or his determination to reunite two brothers before it's too late, the emotional core remains just as important as the mystery itself. The biggest questions now are obvious. Who is really behind Fire Sale? Why is G so important? Who is the mysterious man hiding inside law enforcement? And perhaps most intriguingly, is Sugar beginning to lose his grip on reality after seeing Peg in the nightclub? Or is there something even stranger happening, with the conspiracy growing larger and the danger increasing every episode? Episode 4 promises to answer some of these questions while probably introducing even more mysteries. If the first 3 episodes are anything to go by, Sugar's toughest challenge is still ahead.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.